It's now 7 o'clock, Wednesday, June the 11th of 2014. Time is 7 p.m. This is the regular meeting of the town commissioners for the town of Redington Shores. Will we all stand for the pledge?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You call the roll, please.
Commissioner Henderson? Here. Commissioner Capper?
Here.
Commissioner Holmes?
Here.
Vice Mayor Branch?
Here.
Mayor Adams? Attorney Denhart?
Here.
Let me explain, the mayor is out of town on business, so what you see is what you got. We have a short meeting tonight. Some got wet coming, and I appreciate you being here. We'll go right into approving the minutes of the meeting of May the 14th of 2014 and the workshop meeting of May the 28th of 2014.
I make a motion that we approve the minutes of the regular meeting, May 14, 2014, the workshop meeting, May 28, 2014.
Second.
I have a second. Mary, would you call the roll, please?
Commissioner Henderson? Yes. Commissioner Capper?
Yes.
Commissioner Holmes?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Branch?
Yes. Okay, and the actual reports from the mayor, he's not here. I'm going to ask the captain if he would come up from the police and explain to us the parking. It'll only take 2 or 3 minutes. Instead of giving the regular police report, because in the police report it said that they were changing over and this might not be accurate. So I feel we got a man here that can give us the accurate things on parking if you have any questions whatsoever about it.
Good evening, everyone. In a general sense, parking enforcement is the bane of my existence. I think people would rather get arrested for murder than get a parking ticket. But nonetheless, it is something that we do and will continue to do. And like I said, I know it's distasteful for many people. And in the event that you are the subject of a ticket and you are that adamant that you didn't deserve it, certainly I want everyone to know that you have a right to contest it. There's a process, and basically you have 2 options. You can either pay the fine, and they're really, as Pinellas County does, they're pretty cheap. They're $25. I think in St. Pete they're $100. But again, you can pay the fine. You have 15 days to do it and be done with it, or you can contest it, which entails setting a court date. It takes right now probably 6 to 8 weeks to get a court date. It's usually in the evening before a magistrate, and you go plead your case, and they make a decision. The officer that wrote the ticket is required to be there to establish why you were in violation of the ordinance. The only thing I can tell you is living in a small town with very limited parking tickets are a fact of life, and they're going to continue to be. If you get one, and it's really just you are in your heart of hearts, you feel that it wasn't deserved, call me. I'll meet with you, you can come see me, and we'll talk about it and try to come to some amicable solution. With regard to the processing that Vice Mayor Branch alluded to, we've switched our records management system for the police department. In fact, we're still in the process of transitioning to a database and a system that's housed by the sheriff. It's state-of-the-art. It's much more effective and faster. But the actual processing of the tickets, the parking tickets, and you coming and paying a fine if you get one, is still handled right here in town. You guys, Mary, your tickets can be paid here, or they have to come to us? Okay, yeah, if you come to Indian Shores Town Hall, if you got a ticket, that's where you'd have to pay it. But the processing is just the in-house process that we track them and track payment. It used to be you could get a warrant issued for yourself for a parking ticket, which in my view is very unfair because your kid may have taken your car and gotten a parking ticket, you know nothing about it, you're the owner, there's a warrant for you. We don't do that anymore. The worst thing that happened if you didn't pay the ticket, it would go to collections. But that's it in a nutshell. If you have any questions, I'm certainly happy to answer them.
Do we get travel time to go to Indian Shores, pay the ticket?
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
What that is, that gives you the true answer instead of all of these things you hear about people wanting grace periods. I've never heard that one before, but somebody wanted a grace period on it and everything. So now you have what happens. The main thing is be careful where you park, I guess. And in case most of you don't realize, for beach nourishment, we have to have so many free parking places. This creates a problem on things. People figure, well, I'll use somebody's front yard, and that doesn't work out too well. Okay, Commissioner Kappa?
Month of May was a little slow in permits. We had a total of 50 permits consisting of windows, kitchen remodeling, tie poles on docks, pavers, certain things. Total fees were $6,781.46. Indian Shores had a total of $5,792.35. That is it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir. Commissioner Henderson?
I'm happy to report that the Spitzer Park repair will be started next week, which the accident caused, but we're finally getting it fixed. And Parks and Rec has a meeting on June 18th at Constitution Park at 6:30, and that is the committee, but everyone is welcome to come. Please feel free to come and put your 2 cents in. We'd love to hear from you. And also, the Gulf Beaches Library has a ton of summer programs for all age groups. Please come out. This is such a benefit for all of us, so please support us. Come to the Gulf Beaches Library and enjoy the summer with us. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Henderson. Commissioner Henderson?
Thank you. There was one emergency fire response during the period with average response time 6 minutes and 41 seconds. There were no non-emergency responses during the period. Emergency medical services were 29 EMS calls during the time period response time of 6 minutes and 2 seconds. And there were 11 non-emergency EMS responses during the period with an average response time of 7 minutes and 15 seconds. In emergency management, the town, part of the town staff participated in a hurricane exercise with county emergency management. And it was beneficial from the standpoint of having to work with the different reports and filling in required computer form reporting. And we also were required to keep the county and staff aware of all of our reactions to the different phases of the hurricane exercises. So it was a good exercise in that respect of working out some things with them, and an opportunity for us to look at it on this end. In addition to that, we had our hurricane awareness presentation on May 29th, and just this past week or a week or so ago, and there was a good attendance involved with it, and we had a good show. We had an excellent panel, and everybody that talked about it seemed to enjoy it and thought it was done very well. The panel was had a lot of good expertise and knew what they were talking about. That's always a nice thing to have too. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Okay, the next moving on, there's no old business for moving to new business, and we have for the planning and zoning recommendation of 17465 Gulf Boulevard, the site plan for the coffee shop. Steve, do you have anything to say on that?
Vice Mayor, the Planning and Zoning Board recommended approval with the site plan as it was presented.
Okay, I believe that on the commissioner, I'll start here with Commissioner Holmes. You have something to
Thank you. I'd like to address the commission, and I, as I'm sure all of you, have made a very thorough reconnaissance of the property and looked it over and studied the documentation that was given to us with the package that was presented to planning and zoning. I also had an opportunity to meet Mr. Olson on the property and off the property. And I would like to make a motion that the recommendation of the planning board and zone be accepted subject to the following stipulations. One is that the gate and north fence along the rear of the property be secured, properly secured to prevent public ingress and egress. In addition to that, that the access to the dock in the rear also be gated and secured to prevent public access and ingress and egress. And the other thing is that, as I understand it from reviewing the minutes of the meeting, that Mr. Olson was planning on closing the business at 8 p.m., I believe, according to that in there. So I would like for him to state his operating hours that would end at 8 p.m. and whatever time they begin. He can do that late in the meeting if he wants to. He would. But I'd like to know what those hours are going to be so that we have it here. And he's clarified it just beyond the fact of mentioning it during that hearing that he states what they're going to be. And the other thing is that the lighting, I think he said that there wouldn't be any problem with lights back there because there wouldn't be any past 8 o'clock when they closed anyway. So there won't be any lighting in the rear as I understand it. It's not on the site plan, doesn't show any lighting there. I would have guessed that it normally would if they were going to have lighting there. Steve, probably?
Yeah.
Okay. So if there's not on it, then apparently there's not going to be any, no requirement for it. Okay. And the other thing is that I would want the owner, Mr. Olson, responsible for the security of those 2 points that we mentioned previously, and be sure that he would be responsible for the overall security of it, and that they maintain the security of those 2 points. And that the building inspector will come back to us after those 2 points are secured and let us know that they have been secured to his satisfaction.
And before you have a second, or if I can just ask a couple of clarifications. You said secured as far as the 2 points of ingress, egress, and I'm not sure whether you mean closed and locked, permanently sealed off?
Closed and locked.
Okay. So
The gate, there is a gate up on the north fence now, and that gate needs to be chained, however, it needs to be chained and secured somehow, permanently secured, only permanently in the respect that he would have access to ingress and egress if they needed it for a fire or whatever purpose.
So no
But
ingress,
nobody
egress?
else would.
No ingress,
No public.
egress by the public?
Correct. And the same thing with the access to the dock in the rear. No ingress, egress from the water side or from the property side that he has.
Before we get a second on that, can I ask why? What is your reason for the security?
Security?
Yeah.
Well, I think it's, I'm sorry, but I thought it would be obvious.
Well, I mean, it's an outside coffee shop, I'm assuming, but you don't, the people...
It's fenced, it's fenced. It's fenced, the site plan is fenced.
Okay, but what about, you saying you want to fence the docks and also, that somebody can't go by boat?
No,
Why?
because it's not part of the site plan. And they can't go by boat. That wasn't in the request, that's not a part of the package.
Okay.
Okay?
My other question was going to be, the lights was, in your motion, was that a condition, an added condition in your motion that there be no outdoor lighting in the back?
Correct, be no outdoor lighting in the back.
And then the hours, I know you said you want to hear from the applicant first on what his hours are, and
We know they said they're gonna stop them at 8, so all we need is a bracket. You wanna give us the short end of that, Mr. Olson? No,
Yeah.
you don't want to.
And will they be the same for daylight savings time versus?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we're planning our operating hours from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m., 7 days a week.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
so that could be a condition in the motion as well, that if approved based upon the condition that it not be open after 8 o'clock p.m. before 7 or whatever.
Be what? What'd you say, Counsel?
I just said it could be a condition of your motion if you wish, if the commission wish, to put a limit on the opening and the closing hours, or at least on the operation of the outside hours.
Correct. He said the hours of business, the business hours.
Right.
We're going to be from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m.
Right.
6 p.m. to 8, 2 hours?
6 a.m. to 8
Okay,
p.m.
okay. You have no problem with this?
600 to 20, I'm sorry.
You have no problem with the, what he's talking about on security?
No, with the secure the dock, can we just put a rope preventing people from going there, or do you want an actual fence?
We want a gate.
You want a gate on there?
Yeah, rope's not secure.
I'm still a little confused on why, what the request is. Why can't I go over there on my boat and get a cup of coffee?
Because you can't.
Why?
It's not part of it.
Well, I understand that, but why can't it be? What is it hurting?
I really don't, that's not really what we're here for tonight. The dock is not in it at all. It wasn't put before planning and zoning at all.
Well, if he has no problem with it, that's fine.
I would like the option in the future to have a dock, so I don't know if it would be easier to do that, but right now I don't have any plans to use it.
Okay.
So, I mean, yeah, so.
I mean, you got a restaurant on a dock, a coffee shop, or on the water, and you can't use it? That doesn't make sense to me.
For a cup of coffee?
I think, it doesn't matter what it is, it's, you know, it's
I want to
a...
be there, I'll help you tie that boat up yours, and you come in for a cup of coffee, I'll buy it for you.
But yes, in the future, I would like that option, that fishermen, before they come out, they could come up to the
Well, I
dock.
think
and-
what you have to do is go back to planning and zoning, to get rid of that, what you're telling me.
Sure will.
Okay, you got a motion?
Okay, are we good on the stipulations? Part of the motion? No.
You made a
Oh,
motion with
The other thing is on the acoustic guitar, which is discussed briefly in the the minutes of the board meeting with the planning and zoning board. And the acoustic guitar, which I'm not familiar with, I don't know if Commissioner Kavanaugh plays one or not, but anyway, I know that I'm not familiar with them.
You play one?
But as I understand it, they don't play very well without amplification. So I would say that maybe we should limit your amplification to 2 speakers.
If I follow the city's guidelines on noise, you know, if I don't cause, you know, undue loudness, if the police come and tell me to shut down, you shut down, but do we want to limit me on how many speakers? And because I have 2 speakers for the outside, playing music all the time, but if they come and play.
Could we not have like a probationary period, trial and error
Yeah.
kind of thing? Let's check it out for...
But I'm not gonna have electric guitars, drums, all that. It's gonna be acoustic, and you're gonna be able to have a conversation over the music, so it's not gonna be that loud. But
We probably have more noise at Circle K than those cars pulling up. Go and get beer.
Did you want to add that as a condition?
I would like to, I mean, just to see how it goes. I mean, I don't think there's any harm in that. Just
Well,
to
you
see.
can always, I mean, the commission can put any conditions on the approval that you wish, basically. And if you have conditions and then in 6 months or a year or whatever, the gentleman wants to come back and ask that something be loosened or lessened, I don't think it would have to go back to planning and zoning board because you all are the ones that are putting the conditions on it. So certainly you could come back in and that would give you your probationary period or whatever and just see how it starts out. So you could put conditions on, but then later on, if he applies to the commission to have some conditions modified or eliminated, that would be up to the board at that time.
Okay.
Are you in agreement with that?
I'm in agreement.
What time frame are you talking about?
Well, I'd like to see if we have complaints by neighbors with the noise and the traffic and parking and, you know, because I know there's one spot when I was over there, that if you park in it and Circle K parks in theirs this way, you're not
It's
going to
gonna
be able to get out.
Correct. And we're
that's a little bit.
And
of
we're
an
trying to use
issue.
that for our one employee spot so that they don't go
Okay.
in and out that often.
So if you maybe marked it employee only or something, or, I
could
don't
probably do
know,
that.
just,
Okay.
when I was over there, I noticed, I thought, well, I'd be blocked in here until somebody decides to come to
Correct.
Circle K, or maybe that's an employee at Circle K that parks there, and I don't know.
Yeah, correct.
So,
So we're trying to use that as an employee parking lot right now.
gotcha.
But I can't tell you the 3 days we've been open so far. Over 95% of our traffic's been on foot so far.
Well,
And we
we're
haven't
happy
used
to
that,
have you.
so I'm glad, I'm excited to be here.
Do you own the building, or?
No, I do not.
Business?
Yes.
Well,
But help you a little bit with that fence security in the north fence. Mr. Tyrone owns the property on the other side of that fence, and he's concerned about people, if they can come through that fence, they come onto his property, he doesn't like that.
And from what I understand, from what Carol, the owner, told me, that fence was installed years ago because of a requirement that a fire truck had to go in and out from back there, which I believe is no longer required. But we have no plans to use that gate other than if we take garbage out to the back.
We can secure it, right?
Yes, I'll have it locked all the times. The only one to be open would be the one by Circle K.
Right.
Yes.
You got a time frame you want to talk
And
about?
do you have a requirement on how you want to secure that dock? You know, I don't know if it's, the fence wise,
I'd put a rope on it.
That's what's on there now.
that's what's on there now, I have it ripped off.
No. Steve, can you give him some kind of a suitable security gate type fixture that would keep people on one side or the other, both, obviously, can they get over with a ladder? Of course they can. But we could discourage people from having free access.
You'd have to cover the whole dock. I mean, you can pull a boat up there and if you just put the gate out at the end of the dock, the boat can still get up there and people can get up on the dock.
Well,
I just think, first of all, what, there's been several businesses in there, and I think we should encourage businesses, and we're trying to make it hard for them. I mean, it doesn't make sense to me. That's just my feeling on it. For what reason is it, who cares if a boat goes there and parks and gets coffee? Is it gonna hurt something?
he might have had some problems with liability responsibility.
Well, that's his problem, that's not ours.
And that's why if we secure it, it's not going to be ours.
I disagree with you, Lee, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I feel that we should bend over backwards to help businesses in our city. And that's what we should do. And for something like that, he's on the water, you've got docks, that's what this city is, it's all on the water. And now we want to take a dock away from him? Nah, I don't buy that.
No, we're not taking it away from him at all.
Can't use it.
It's not his to use. Anyway, it's not, as I understand, it's not part of the package that went before the planning and zoning board, so it wasn't covered by them.
Steve?
Right, yeah, actually, the letter from the property owner is, I think states in it that she doesn't want them to use the dock.
Right.
So she just said rope off, is fine, but, if you want something more secure, a 4-foot chain link gate, on the property owner, she won't.
There's probably some other things you could point out to him if you wanted to. Anyway, you okay with giving them some guidance on the gate back there
Yeah.
and secure it? And the fence,
Yeah.
the gates?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Okay.
What are we going to do about tonight? Are we going to pass?
Well, we're ready to go. You got a time frame you want to do?
I'm thinking 90 days. It'll get you through the summer when everybody's really for sure outside. And then, revisit it.
Come here to, next.
I don't really foresee a big issue, but, because you seem like you've got it under control. I met with you earlier today.
Would you like me to come back, or after 90 days, if I have no complaints, I could just consider it business as usual?
I think if the conditions are in there, you're going to have to come back in 90 days
Right.
and ask to have them
Okay.
modified.
Okay.
I don't think it can be as loose as just let you decide. I think if the commission wishes to have those conditions, they need to be imposed, and then you need to come back in and seek the modification.
Okay, so the conditions right now are just some kind of fence in front of the gate and the pier.
Not a fence in front of the gate.
I mean, in front of the dock, thank you. And then
To the dock.
just the gate right now on the north side is secured with a lock and a chain.
Whose lock is
It's my lock.
locked?
Yes.
Anybody else? Okay, so you're satisfied with this good security?
That's fine, yes.
Okay, fine.
And that's the only two conditions right now that I'm
Yeah,
understanding
I
for the
just want to keep
probation
our
and the
residents
noise.
happy with
Correct.
the noise. I mean,
Okay.
because I'm very
Correct.
sensitive to that issue in my district.
That's fine. I understand, okay. No
What
complaints.
we need is a motion.
Oh, right, no, I'm doing.
Yeah, right.
I made the motion with the stipulations. Are we okay with the stipulations?
I'll second your motion.
I am fine, and, but as long as I could come back in the future if I do decide to redo the document.
Sure.
Yes,
Acknowledge.
I agree with that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second.
No, I'll second
Mary,
it.
would you call the roll?
Commissioner Henderson?
Yes.
Commissioner Capper?
Yes.
Commissioner Holmes?
Yes,
Vice Mayor Branch?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
that was easy one.
Okay, the next I'm going to ask our counselor to go over with you for the funding request for the Neighborly Care Network, and just briefly explain what that is about if you do not understand. I can tell you the need of the subject. They want us to donate $3,000, which we have been doing every year, probably in the last 5 years, I know, but anyway. So, would you,
Well, that basically is it. Neighborly Care Network provides services and social services throughout the county and in Reddington Shores, and each year they come and indicate what they've done, and some of what they do, they can't be specific about who they serve or who their clients or residents are, but they've indicated the number of services that they provide, and they're asking for $3,000, which would be a local matching funds as a contribution. I'm not sure what the town's contributed in the past, but I do know sometimes towns contribute what they ask, and sometimes they lessen it, but Neighborly Care Network always seems to appreciate anything and everything.
I think we went for the 3,000 last year, and let's go in for the 3,000 this year.
I make a motion, we accept the request to give $3,000 to the Neighborly Care Network for the service of the people in our community that they provide that service to.
I'll second that.
I have a motion and a second. Mary, call the roll, please.
Commissioner Henderson?
Yes.
Commissioner Capper?
Yes.
Commissioner Holmes?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Branch?
Yes. So, we have a proclamation on water that the mayor has to sign, but our council will sign, read and give you the brief of it as to what it entails and so forth.
So the proclamation proclaims that the Town of Redding Shores Board of Commissioners declares that August 2014 would be Water Professionals Month and honor the Florida Water and Pollution Control Operators Association and those that provide the water services throughout the state.
So that's
Generally, the mayor just proclaims those.
right.
We don't need a vote.
All right,
It's fine.
we have a workshop meeting on June the 25th at 7 o'clock. We have a regular meeting on July the 9th at 7 o'clock. All those in 2014. I would like to ask if we have any public comment. Now, is everybody sure they know where the coffee shop is going in?
Right next to Circle K.
No, God.
When is your grand opening, do you know that?
I'm thinking the first week of August, October.
Oh, wow.
Finish that one.
We have an add-on
I do have one resolution that I would like the commission to consider, and as you know, you approved a development agreement for La Vistana 2. And La Vistana 2 they have their building permits, a development agreement was signed, it's recorded, they have their building permits. There's litigation that was instituted by one of the residents, husband and wife, Mr. and Mrs. Gianpetro in La Vistana 1. And part of that litigation, they're alleging that the town should not have granted a variance to go from 85 feet to a maximum height of 92 feet. The building was originally permitted in the development agreement, or contemplated in the development agreement from 10 years ago to be 85 feet, the same height as the existing La Vistana 1 building. During those negotiations, the developer elected to limit the height of the building of La Vistana 2 to 85 feet, the same height as La Vistana 1, and not use the variance of the additional 7 feet. The developer has provided 2 letters to the town confirming that, and that they waive and release the variance that they got in the development agreement, and their plans are to build it 85 feet above the crown of Gulf Boulevard, or whatever the town's ordinances say, the same as La Vistana 1. So in order to assist the town in that litigation and to finalize that they're not using that variance, I have a resolution that I would propose, and let me read it by title only, resolution number 05-14, a resolution of the Town Commission of the Town of Reading, Shores, Florida, consenting to a modification of a development agreement providing for an effective date. And I'm just requesting that you pass this resolution, which would in effect modify the development agreement to say that the extra 7 feet variance isn't in play anymore. And that's, the developer has certainly consented to that, and they've provided correspondence to the town attached to the resolution saying that they're not using that, they're happy with that, so.
I make a motion we adopt resolution 05-14 as read.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Mary, please call the roll.
Commissioner Henderson?
Yes.
Commissioner Capper?
Yes.
Commissioner Holmes?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Brandt?
Yes. Okay, do we have any public comment?
If I may,
Yes, sir.
on behalf of the Indian Shores Town Council, I want to extend an invitation to everyone. Tomorrow night is a hurricane awareness. They're calling it a party at the Indian Shores Town Hall at 6 p.m., but everyone is invited if you're interested.
Are you serving food?
I believe they are.
Okay. Thank you.
Open the door.
Anyone else?
You're trying to create revenue.
Okay, well, we're glad you're here, and I'd like to wish everybody here a happy Father's Day, or to your father if you're not yet a father. When I came along back during the 30s, nobody wanted a young'un, so I was given away for adoption, so. So I have a couple of them, but they all passed on in 38, I think it was, 1938. So anyway, I appreciate though the fact of all the good men that we have, and especially those that are here in Reading Shores. Anything else? If not, this meeting is adjourned.
It's a pretty good meeting, it's over.
30 minutes, wow.